A wise person always understands and comprehends everything around him with the language of energies, and this in terms of frequencies, wavelengths, and vibrations. Music in itself is a potential energy which acts on the subconscious and the conscious minds of the humans and also on the plants and animals. Om is the primordial sound of the cosmos in itself. It is that energetic vibration from which everything emerged from. Everything in existence is manifested into reality from this vibration of Om. The most ancient spiritual traditions of India, dating back to over 25,000 years, considers Om as the soundless sound made by the primordial vibration of the universe and the basic harmony building block of our three-dimensional world. George Fuston, in his book The Yoga Tradition, along with several leading edge astrophysicists, today agree to the fact that the syllable Om is held to be to express the pulse of the cosmos itself. Om is made up of three Sanskrit letters, that is A, U, and Ma. When these sacred seed syllables are combined, they make the sound Om, which is recited as a mantra or non-denominational prayer in itself. Mankind has always understood the importance and benefits of adding audible manifestations of these divine harmonics to enhance our spiritual development. There are many meanings behind the sacred Vedic syllable. Some regard it as symbolic representation of the core of the cosmic energy field. It was through meditative practices rather than intellectual speculation that the seers and the rishis of Vedic times arrived at the idea of universal sound, eternally resounding in the universe, which they saw as they as the very origin of the created world. Tapping into the Om vibration is fairly easy, but reaping its benefits requires time and patience. One may listen to recording of Om chanting or even gaze in the meditation at the Sanskrit symbol of Om. Over time, the Om will become pervasive, enveloping the aspirant in a warm and gentle knowingness, a calmness of being, an unmistakable light. It is said in the Vedic texts that one who works with Om develops a sweet voice, a kind nature, and a pleasing disposition. The energy of Om ultimately reminds us of our interconnectedness to life everywhere, making us more compassionate, loving beings. If only more of us chanted Om, what a positively happier and healthier world this would be. It is the most important and powerful mantra one can chant. Chanting Om connects you to the source of all instantly. It awakens the cosmic divinity that always is within you at your very core. Modern science says that everything in this universe, every atom, every molecule, everything came into being because of the energy vibration. All material objects and even our thoughts are states of energetic vibration at microcosmic and macrocosmic levels. Science claims that universe was created by a big bang, which considers with the ancient scriptures that tell us that Om is the vibration from which everything sprang from. Sound always creates a form, and Om is the original word of power, and which is a mantra. A mantra is a series of verbal sounds whose effect lies not in an assigned intellectual meaning, but in an inherent sound power that can produce a specific effect physically or psychologically. The word mantra itself comes from the Sanskrit expression mantra trayate, which means a transforming thought, literally, that when thought carries across, which produces an objective perceptible changes. It also literally means a liberating thought. Sound creates form. The mantra Om is widely mentioned in ancient texts like the Puranas, the Tantras, Then the Yoga Sutras, the Upanishads, the Holy Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas, and even the Bible for that matter. Om is mostly referred to as the Mahata Mantra or the Great Mantra. The Maitri Upanishad says Om is the primordial throb of the universe. It is that sound form of Atma, that is consciousness. And this is what Maitri Upanishad actually mentions. So by chanting Om, we connect with our truest state, our inherent vibration. In a Dhyana Bindu Upanishad, it reads like, let Om be the bow, mind be the arrow, and higher consciousness the target. Those who want enlightenment should reflect on the sound and meaning of Om. When the arrow is released from the bow, it goes straight to the target. Om is potent and powerful, bringing the one who chants it straight into higher, if not the highest, state of consciousness. The vibration of Om brings about a true alchemy within one's entire being, allowing them to enter into a profound state of transformation. As per Adi Shankaracharya's thought on Om is symbol is considered very holy because it stands for Brahman, the eternal consciousness. Om is a soundless sound. It is the beginning, the middle, and the end of all the things. It represents the past, the present, the future, and also the four states of consciousness that is the Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and Turiya. Om is also called the Nada Brahman, the sound of the Brahman, because it includes with the entire range of the sound. The mantra Om indeed represents Brahman, the absolute consciousness. It is the highest. He who knows this meaning, worships it, attains the supreme goal, and knows everything. This is the message of Katha Upanishad. In the Holy Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is the essence of Om. He symbolizes the underlying consciousness in it, the eternal energy in all the things, everywhere, at all the time. This is why, before engaging in any spiritual practice, we are to chant Om in order to invoke the eternal consciousness. A mantra is incomplete unless and until we do not use the prefix Om before it. The mantra is pure when we do not use the mantra Om before it. So before starting, so in Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, 17, 24th verse, it is stated that before starting sacrifices, holy practices, and austerities, as prescribed by the scriptures, serious spiritual seekers should chant Om, and that is written in Bhagavad Gita. In the geometric form, the Shri Yantra is nothing but Om, which is an interesting fact. The word yantra means mystical diagram, and there are variety of different yantras used in yogic and tantric traditions to aid in meditation and manifestations. The Shri Yantra symbolizes the relationship between the manifest and the unmanifest. Triangle in the Shri Yantra, silently describing processes happening within human beings as well as the universe within. Chanting the mantra Om brings about a state of liberation, of bliss, and of peace. As per Sri Aurobindo's thought on Om is the mantra, the expressive sound symbol of the Brahman consciousness in all its four domains, from the Turiya to the external or material plane. The function of Om is to create a vibration in the inner consciousness that will prepare it for the realization of what the mantra symbolizes and is supposed indeed to carry within itself. The mantra Om should therefore lead towards the opening of the consciousness to the sight and feeling of oneness. Om, chanting the mantra also, as we discussed, like chanting the mantra Om brings about a state of liberation, bliss, and peace. It also directly connects you to the truth, the absolute. By chanting Om and also by contemplating its power and meaning, one can awaken incredible powers within and bring about an incredible transformation. If Om is the pulse of cosmos, so also Om is the music of the universe and life. With this, I thank you and I'm very grateful. I express my gratitude towards everyone for giving me this opportunity to present. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Chandrakant Pandavji, and also to Professor Rishi Bhardwaj, who was the voice to the presentation, and you really conducted it very well. Sir, thank you so much for taking us through this journey of our very own origin and where we all come from and where we hope and intend to finally merge into.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
so much for your constant guidance and support to the program and to the IMTA. We are really proud of your achievements, Dr. Pandav, and we are very proud to be associated with you. And IMTA is so much more valuable with you being around. And with
Siddharth, can you hear me, Siddharth?
yes, sir, I can hear you very well.
Thank you so much. Namaste, namaskar, namaskar,
Namaskar, sir.
namaskar. Thank you so much. I appreciate congratulating me for my getting my Padma Shri this year. Thank you so much. The last page of the brochure carries my IMTA, the ideal man of India for the award of Padma Shri. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आप लोगों का. Actually, Siddharth, it's Rishikesh Kedari. His name is Rishi Bharadwaj. Who has done transformation of Rishikesh Kedari to Rishi Bharadwaj. हमने तो उसको भारद्वाज मुनि बना दिया.
इनके नाम के आगे ही लिखा हुआ है, but yes, now I
Yes.
realize that it's Professor Rishikesh Kedari.
Yes, I'm the same person. Thank you, sir.
That's
The
what.
thing is,
That's
ओम
what-
की बात कर रहे हैं तो ओम में तो सब कुछ मिला हुआ है, तो we can go with that.
I thought Om the transformation of Rishikesh Kedari to Rishi Bharadwaj. तो thank you. आप लोगों ने बहुत अच्छा मीटिंग ऑर्गेनाइज किया है. I congratulate you all. I'm looking forward for a time where we can meet physically. Actually, there's a pandemic of webinars that's going on. This is pandemic of COVID-19. This Omicron is just another scare. I call it as a pandemic of fear. Just follow COVID appropriate behavior and just relax. This media has always given you misinformation, disinformation, distorted information. So don't keep much of emphasis on the media. I've been advised to the Prime Minister on COVID-19. इसमें मीडिया ने सबको डरा दिया है. So just take it easy and just follow COVID appropriate behavior. It's a mild strain, and it was a hyper reaction to the variant of Omicron. You can just relax, carry on your travel, carry on your usual activities. We have faced more serious battle in COVID-19 in phase 1 and phase 2. ये तो बच्चा है. Omicron छोटा बच्चा है. So just relax.
Thank you so much, sir. Shukriya, धन्यवाद. आप आए and you spoke. It means a lot to us. And you're a guiding light. And a big thank you to Professor Rishikesh Kedari as well. Thank you so much. And we look forward to learning from you further, listening to you further. But thank you so much for taking out the time today.
Siddharth, I just want to tell you, it's a very complex presentation. उसको 100 बार हमको सुनना पड़ेगा. To understand about home, we have to at least see it and read it at least 100 times, if not 1,000 times. Yesterday I met Narendra Vaikar. He has read Gita 600 times. Gita को उसने he has written very interesting books. Rishikesh, I'll introduce to Narendra Vaikar. He is based in Pune.
Sure, sir.
शुक्रिया सिद्धार्थ. आप तो वैसे भी हमारे गौतम बुद्ध है. You brought us enlightened word. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Very gracious and generous of you, sir. Thank you so much for your guidance. We're moving on to our next presenter for the day, who is Srimati Rekha Malhotra ji, our very own NADA student. She has done her PG postgraduate diploma in NADA. She's been talking in a lot of conferences, giving lectures. She has been working with a lot of people with different ailments, and especially brain tumor is her area of research. I would now like to call upon her to guide us and take us through a presentation on music therapy on brain tumor, which is going to be beneficial for a lot of us here on the group. So over to you, ma'am, for your presentation.
Thank you very much. Good morning, all. Dr. Sai Ramji, scholars, doctors, scientists, and my fellow music therapeutics, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for my today's presentation is music therapy and brain tumor. Dear friends, in this era of scientific developments, the field of medicine and new methods of surgery, we find many new equipments in the hospitals and in trauma centers. With all these new methods, we find that music therapy is playing a very important role to cure many diseases. And this is the revolution in true sense. Our body and mind function side by side. To lead a healthy and long life, we have to keep both our body and mind functioning. Remember that all the types of medicines, doses, pills, and surgery work and heal our limbs, bones, our arteries, lungs, liver, and so on. Along with the treatment to the body by medicine, these parts get 100% cured with the help of music therapy, the sound of music, in other words. In ancient India, as well as in modern India, we have 100 types of medicines, herbs, jari butiyan, and home remedies like Dadi Maa ke nuske. These are very effective. Mainly, we have 4 types of medical help. These are homeopathic, allopathic, Ayurvedic, and music therapy. The first 3 different parts, different types of medicines to heal our body, but the sound of music work to heal us emotionally. Music consoles us and gives us immunity, energy to fight with our diseases, and we forget the pain in our limbs and we recover soon. My dear friends, as you know that I'm specialized in speech therapy as a music therapist. Today my presentation is about brain tumor. Recently I helped a little girl, giving her music therapy to cure her from brain tumor. When we think of brain, we think of Sahasrara Chakra, Tar Saptak in singing. It reminds me of Lord Krishna's Venu Geet and the flute played by the Lord. The flute was played by Lord Krishna with many ragas and raginis to cure many hearts with depression to the happiness. The different tunes of chapais of Ramayana and shlokas of Bhagavad Gita fill up our being. Let me recite some shlokas of Bhagavad Gita for you in tunes and in singing as we speak normally. But in these epics, we don't speak, we have to sing. As says very common Hanuman Chalisa, Jai Hanuman Gyan Gun Sagar, we have to sing. So in Gita, in Sanskrit, we have to sing everything, and that help us to lead a very long and happy and healthy life. अभी 12वीं अध्याय से मैं कुछ 2-3 श्लोक पढ़ के बताती हूँ गा के, जिसको गाना ही पड़ता है. भगवान श्री कृष्ण से अर्जुन पूछ रहे हैं प्रश्न, वो प्रश्न भी गा के है. अर्जुनो वाच एवं सतत युक्ता ये भक्ता स्वं पर्युपासते ये चाप्यक्षरम अव्यक्तम तेषां के योग वित्तमा. गा दिया. फिर भगवान बोलते हैं मय्यावेश मनो ये मा नित्य युक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया पर्योपेतास ते मे युक्त तमामता ये तक्षरम निर्देश्य अव्यक्तम पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गम चिन्त्यं च कूटस्थमचलं ध्रुवम्. And you know, when you read it regularly, I repeat, you lead a very healthy and long life. There is no doubt in it. And recently, just now, I heard a beautiful lines by Dr. Pandav And it reminds me of a very good shloka from 7th chapter of Gita, and shlok number 8. And I will read it for you. रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मे शशि सूर्य हो प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दः खे पौरुषं रिपु। इसका मतलब ये है कि भगवान कहते हैं श्री अर्जुन से, हे कुंती पुत्र, आई एम गेटिंग इमोशनल, आई एम सॉरी, गीता से मुझे पता नहीं अंदर से कुछ होता है, बहुत खुशी होती है। भगवान कह रहे हैं, हे कुंती पुत्र, मैं जल का स्वाद हूं, सूर्य तथा चंद्रमा का प्रकाश हूं, वैदिक मंत्रों का ओंकार हूं और आकाश में ध्वनि हूं। डॉक्टर पांडव, ये आपके उसका एक पार्ट समझ लीजिए, टू ऑनर यू। वो कहते हैं कि मैं रिपीट कर रही हूँ, वैदिक मंत्रों का मैं ओंकार हूँ और आकाश में ध्वनि हूँ। तो जहाँ साउंड आ गई वहाँ श्री कृष्ण है, जहाँ श्री कृष्ण है वहाँ म्यूजिक थेरेपी है, उसमें कोई डाउट ही नहीं है। नाउ लेट अस कम टू द ब्रेन ट्यूमर. The brain tumor is a group of abnormal cells that start in the brain. Causes. The causes are unknown. Primary brain tumor may be non-cancerous, invasive, spread to nearby areas, cancerous, malignant. Brain tumors are classified depending on exact site of the tumor, the type of the tissue involved, whether it is cancerous. Brain tumors directly destroy brain cells by pushing on other parts of the brain. This leads to the swelling and increased pressure in the skull. Tumors may occur at any age. There are some tumors, those are usually non-cancerous. Slow-growing cysts, they mostly grow in the children aged 5 to 8. The music therapist must know about the signs and symptoms and the effects of the disease for which they are giving treatment. That is a must. We must know about the disease. We are not fully doctors, MBBS or MDs, but then even we have to know about the disease and a part of body on which the disease is giving its bad effects. Mind you that while we give music therapy, we have to choose soft notes and soft sounds of music to calm down the patient, because we want to calm down the patient emotionally. Emotionally, yes. About brain tumor, the signs and symptoms are headaches, impaired concentration, increases sleep, memory loss, gradually loss of movement in legs and arms, hearing loss, vision problem, and weakness and numbness. Now I come to music therapy given by me to some little girl who was suffering with brain tumor. This is a case of a brain tumor in our family. I got inspired for today's paper presentation in this prestigious music conference. The patient of brain tumor is now recovered. My brother-in-law's 23-year-old daughter. The tumor was detected when she was 4-year-old with the signs and symptoms which I above mentioned. We got alarmed and all the tests related brain tumor and cancer started to be done. As a music therapist, I took charge to give her therapy by music along with treatments and medicines recommended by the neurosurgeon. To our relief, the reports were negative for cancer, but there was no improvement in her behavior and mental growth. Dear friends, I would sing very softly nursery rhymes and Bollywood songs for her, and I wanted to encourage her to sing, but she did not show any interest in singing. At the age of 7, 8 year old, she started getting schooling from various institutions like Sadhu Vaswani School and School Step by Step. And of course, she was getting music therapy by me, but no improvement was there. At last, my hard work bore a fruit when one day I was singing before her a Bollywood song. It worked, and suddenly she started singing the song very joyously along with me. Let me sing the very light song and with a very beautiful tune in it. But no, and with the sound of music, the lyrics of the song that inspired her. The song is मनु भाई मोटर चली पम 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 चौपाटी जाएंगे ना भेल पूरी खाएंगे अच्छी अच्छी सूरतों से आंखें लड़ाएंगे हल्ला मचाएंगे गुल्ला मचाएंगे बैंड बाजा बाजेगा डम 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 hey and you know my dear friends this song my son's nickname is Manu. When she heard my son's name and her elder brother's name, whom she adores, she got overwhelmed to sing this song with me. Now it was our routine to sing Manu Bhai along with many, many more Bollywood songs. Now she was coming out of the trauma of mental disability to show her interest in drawing, and now she paints very beautifully. And she showed her interest in computer also, computer activities. She had many questions about her dreaded disease. For that, she would put questions. She got confused that what was happening with her. Sometimes she would suddenly fall on the ground to break her crown with bleeding also. And but we were very helpless. Dear friends, the sweet and slow profile singing by the patient and by the therapist is like applying balm on the wound. The brain catches the sound of music very fast and soothes and heals the patient emotionally. Music is emotional and full of happiness. Music has no language. It does not matter as if the music belongs to Karnataka or music, there is Hindustani music, but the sound of music works. Similarly, waves in the brain help the diseased person to react accordingly. A study published in the Journal of Neuroscience showed significant differences in the brain wave, volume in certain regions between musicians and non-musicians. And all my research and my therapy by music given to Stuti was fruitful. After going through many tests related to brain tumor and brain cancer, got negative reports. Now she is a cancer-free and tumor-free girl. Sorry to say that Stuti is, her growth is very slow. But we have a ray of hope. हम होंगी कामयाब, हम होंगी कामयाब एक दिन। हो मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. And in the end, I will present my composition on coronavirus, the most important thing nowadays. And जिसे मैंने स्वरबद्ध किया राग जमन में, कोरोना वायरस का एक मैंने सॉन्ग बनाया है राग जमन में। राग जमन जो है इसमें ग वादी और नी संवादी है। ग वादी होने की वजह से ये नीचे की तरफ देखता है और उसी लिए उसके स्वीट जो है ट्यून्स निकलती है, बहुत स्वीट है, टू क्योर मैनी मैनी डिजीजेस। तो आई विल सिंग इट फॉर यू। नी रे गा रे सा, मा तीव्र है, मध्यम तीव्र है, पा मा गा रे सा। सात सुरों से सात चक्र को ठीक करें, हम गा के करें और बजा के करें। अब इसकी नोटेशन सुन लीजिए जिसमें मैंने स्वरबद्ध किया। गा 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 रे सनी दा नि सा रे गा रे गा म पा। सात सुरों से सात चक्र को ठीक करें, हम गा के करें और बजा के करें। नी रे गा गा रे सा नी रे गा म पा म गा म सा रे, नी रे गा म पा म गा रे सा सा, नी रे गा गा रे सा नी रे गा म पा म गा रे सा सा। मधनी नी कोविड जैसे रोगों को म्यूजिक थेरेपी से दूर भगाएं, इम्यूनिटी बढ़ाएं। आओ प्रॉमिस करें सब स्वस्थ रहें। सारी दुनिया में जो कोई भी हो उसे स्वस्थ बनाएं, संगीतमय बनाएं, संगीतमय बनाएं। And two lines more. Friends, one day I visited channel by Jews on YouTube, and I got a pleasant surprise to listen very soft tunes composed by some musicians on brain cancer. My God, there were many poems on brain cancer, and in the tunes and the music played by the musicians were wonderful. And I was listening for some time. We must appreciate and encourage such musicians. They really help patients to cure from any disease. And I give my best wishes to all the coronavirus warrior musicians and music therapeutics and cheer them from the core of my heart for work they are doing tirelessly. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rekhaji, for this beautiful presentation. Just the way you talked about that case, it's so inspiring. And it also teaches us how we need to be perseverant in our efforts and also emotionally invested. Thank you. It reminds me, and your first part of your presentation reminds me of the 22nd verse of the 10th chapter of the Gita, where he says, Vedanam Samed vas asmi. He says, amongst the Vedas, I'm Samved, and Samved is the origin for music, at least in the Indian tradition. So Krishna's affiliation to music is very evident there as well. Thank you so much for taking us through this beautiful journey of yours. And we would love to hear you sing more because it's beautiful. And we thoroughly enjoyed the Manu Bhai story as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Moving on, as times change, realities have changed, perceptions have changed, our experiences have changed. And it would be, our conference would not be complete without understanding the changes which have happened in our society, just the way we interact. And we have a stalwart in her field with us amongst us today, Dr. Renu Kishore. She's a retired associate professor in psychology at the University of Delhi. Her doctoral work was in the field of psychology of music. She integrates music therapy in her counseling practice, and she herself is a very enthusiastic singer and an accomplished person and a great person to know and affiliate with. I am honored and very proud to call upon Dr. Renu Kishore to please come and present her paper.
Thank you so much for the generous introduction. And namaskar, good morning to everyone. It's a privilege to be able to present a paper after luminaries such as our Padma Shri member, Professor Pandav, and Rekha Di, who has presented such a beautiful presentation. So now, today, my topic that I'm going to be presenting before you today, I'm just going to start my presentation. I hope it can be visible. Are you able to see it?
It's coming up. Yeah.
It's coming up.
Yeah, we can see it.
Can I make it full screen
Please.
somehow?
Yes, full screen.
How?
Just F5 on your computer.
F5. Okay. Is it visible now?
No, it's not visible actually.
Oh, then let me do it again.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for...
It's visible.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think I'll keep it like this. I don't want it to go back again. So the topic I have chosen for today's presentation is therapeutic effects of virtual music interaction during the ongoing pandemic. For me, this paper, the thought of this paper came because I myself have benefited a lot by taking part in virtual music groups, which are happening online. And I'm very privileged to have become part of 2-3 groups, which were earlier meeting physically. And one of them, of course, is our own IMTA group, Music Therapy Lovers, where we, over the pandemic period, we've had a series of webinars, which was so useful in increasing our learning that it has really helped me. But besides those webinars held by IMTA, I'm also a member of a few other music groups, and we've been meeting, and I have myself benefited a lot in the sense of reduced social isolation, a lot of support, and a quest for doing more motivated. My own singing has improved. So I thought, let me work on this. And what I planned was, I have tried to do a qualitative study. And this qualitative study, excuse me now. Can you see my screen?
Yes,
Hello?
perfect.
Yeah, great. So the global pandemic that happened in 2020, 2021, and is still ongoing in many parts of the world, and there's the threat of the new variant, it has significantly affected lives of individuals, families, and societies across the globe. This impact has been prolonged. Chronic stress, in psychological terms, we call it chronic stress, because if there is stress for a brief while, one can still overcome it. But when it is prolonged and multidimensional, it does become difficult. The complex interplay of emotions, including anxiety, uncertainty, helplessness, grief, loss, all these emotions have left a marked impact on our physical and mental health. Fortunately, let me tell you that it's not just all negative experiences. There are some people who have faced this period with greater positivity and resilience as compared to others. And in my opinion, music has been one of the effective tools that has helped build this resilience. There are many others, art, and so many other things, hobbies, which have impacted resilience, which have helped make a person more resilient. Resilient means bouncing back. The term resilience is very important to understand. It means bouncing back. Yes, we do get affected, but then we bounce back. So as we can see, the multidimensional effects of the pandemic, the lockdown, as the picture depicts, it impacted many dimensions. Physical, the way we are living, our housework, how we were taking care of ourselves, wearing masks, physical distancing, using sanitizers all the time. Everything changed, life changed. Physiological impact was there. We were sitting a lot of times. There was less activity, physical activity. There was danger of obesity. So many physiological factors, and also some people got sick. So those people also suffered. Then emotional impact, as I mentioned, anxiety, fear, helplessness, and also grief in some people. Family relationships. Now, on the one hand, we were secluded, we were isolated at home, but on the other hand, though we were not meeting others, but within the family, we were all together 24/7. And that sometimes was a good thing because we got to bond with each other more, but sometimes it was not so good because it led to conflicts. Everybody was working from home, there was lack of space, there was more housework to be done. So family relationships suffered. Social relationships also suffered because we were not able to meet. We were not able to go out, no recreation, and also not able to meet our friends and family, which left us feeling very helpless and unsupported. On the work front and economic front also, there were losses and there were changes. So as I said before, though most of the effects were negative, there were people who have benefited because they could focus more on family bonding, on their studies and work, and also on their hobbies. Now, this diagram, musical activities during the pandemic, after the initial shock and numbness, there came a little bit of a honeymoon period where everybody said, wow, we don't have to go to work. We can stay at home, relax, no early hours and all that. But we also began to learn new ways of connecting when the depression set in, and coping with lockdown was very important for us. As you must have read in the newspapers and everything, there were reports of balcony singing in Europe where people are, not feeling nice because they cannot meet each other. So they're singing from their balconies. In our own country, we had beating of thalis and utensils. So it showed, basically, the idea was need for social connection to enhance positivity, hope, optimism, and also connect with others. I remember when I was beating the thali outside my home, how all the neighbors came, and everybody was smiling at each other, and it really helped. Of course, that won't, scare the corona away, but it was good for social connection and optimism. Then over time, online meetings started happening over Zoom, Google Meet, and other platforms. Online meetings of family and friends group began not just for social connection, but also over music. The kinds of music interactions that were observed during the pandemic and are still happening, like today, one is singing or performing in groups of friends or family. That is what I was talking about, where we have a family and friends group where we sing every week. And then also I've attended online concerts as an audience, but there are some of you who must have had performances also. Online music lessons as teacher or student. Rekha ji, who spoke before me, she has been a teacher, and I'm sure a lot of you have been giving online music lessons also, though it's not the same, but something is better than nothing, and it helps to keep oneself busy during times of crisis. There were educational webinars on music, such as organized by IMTA. Music is definitely one of the very good coping mechanisms during crisis. Music has been known since time immemorial to be therapeutic. Research has proven that music helps to calm us down physiologically and emotionally. We very well know that it affects the nervous system, it calms down the hormonal imbalances, it helps to emotionally feel calmer, less anxiety. So, music, there's a lot of research which is available and which all of us are aware of. Now, I bring my principles of positive psychology, such as hope, optimism, resilience, flow, and flourishing. Today, we are moving from medical psychology or curative methods to positive psychology, where we believe that we must give importance to these positive emotions of hope and optimism, feeling that it's okay, there is hope, optimistic, resilience, as I said, bouncing back, flow, just going with the flow, not worrying, as Dr. Pandav just said, relax and not worry so much. Just have optimism, flow with the times, accept and flow, and flourishing. Whatever is happening, even in that we can flourish. जैसे कमल का फूल, it comes in a pond of dirty water, but there is a lotus that can bloom. Similarly, we can also bloom during crisis. So it can be done through musical activity and interaction. As I've already said, there are many types of music activity that emerged, especially virtual music interactions. So the present study is actually a qualitative exploration of narratives by individuals who reported their experiences about online music interaction during the pandemic. My study is not quantitative, it's qualitative, and I took interviews of people who were attending music group interactions. So the present study is an exploration, it's an exploratory study. So therefore, I don't have any hypothesis into benefits of virtual music participation on mental health of the individual. Extensive literature review, which I did, revealed that there are many research studies conducted on online music collaboration over the world. But I could not find any work on virtual music interaction groups, especially in India. I did come across research work done where choirs, music choirs were working, but I did not find any specific research on music interaction groups that were happening online. So in my study, I have taken 9 individuals, purposive sampling, because I wanted to take certain participants who were above a certain age, because let me tell you, this musical interaction online can be done with small children, with all age groups, with all genders. Of course, you need to have access to technology. But my sample was purposive. I was able to interview 9 persons, 4 males and 5 females. All of them were above 50 years. So I chose that senior age group. Some of the participants were trained singers who had undergone music training, but some were untrained. And the tool that I used, the research tool I used, was a semi-structured telephonic interview with each participant. I just had a very small, I'll show you in the appendix later. I have that, the topics were basically demographic details and whether they've had any music education or training, and then what were their experiences during the pandemic within the family, outside health and mental health, everything. And then whether they were part of music groups online, were they meeting, and then basically their experiences, whether they benefited, they found it difficult. So that was the purpose for my study. And I used as qualitative research methods include thematic analysis to find out the themes or the common patterns in the narratives of the participants who are telling me about their experiences. Now, since the present study was an exploratory attempt, it's not a confirmatory study, and I used qualitative research methodology, there were no hypotheses framed. Instead, some research questions emerged. One of them was, what was the impact of the pandemic and lockdown on the individual's life? This is what I explored. I wanted to find out how it had affected the person and the family and the lifestyle. Second, did participation in virtual or online music meetings benefit mental health and well-being of the individual? So I asked them questions. Did it help you? Was it significant? And did you feel better? What emotions were benefited, negative emotions, how they improved? Third question I had was, what was the impact of the participation in online music meetings on social health, social relationships during the pandemic? Because as we all know, we were having physical distancing, even though the term used is social distancing in everywhere, but it was actually physical distancing. But because of physical distance, social relationships also were suffering. And the final question I had was, did participation in those meetings encourage the individual to be more musically active? Because otherwise, before the pandemic, we were all busy in our own lives and we had no time. But now, did we focus more on music? And group participation, when you're taking part in groups, online groups, did that give you more motivation than before? Now, the results, how I managed the analysis was that I took transcripts, I recorded the telephonic recordings, I wrote them down, transcripts of each participant, and then I subjected them to thematic analysis. Now, since I have limited time, I'm not showing very detailed results or my transcripts or the coding, but what I did was I found a lot of similarities, but a few minor individual differences. I use the method of coding. Coding means where every sentence is coded to give a certain short term, and then those short terms are combined to make major themes, patterns. So the first result that I got was that participation in online music groups increased the person's resilience and positivity. They all of them, without exception, became more hopeful and joyful, and there was distraction for them from negative emotions or getting bored or getting upset or fatigued, and they were able to focus on productive use of time, productive as in towards positivity, because we were choosing songs, we were practicing and then singing them, and it was productive use. Of course, we were doing our jobs and carrying on with our housework and everything. Then all of them, all my participants reported new and improved social relationships. They felt that all of us, all the participants felt that there were new persons, new friendships that have emerged, and even the earlier ones became more established and closer. There were people attending the music group interaction with their spouses, with their children, grandchildren. So it became a family bonding. Sense of social support and collaboration. A lot of times, my participants have reported that they felt very loved and supported. One of the participants, I'll talk about that, I'll show her data later, but she lost her husband to COVID in April, end of April 2021, in the second phase of the pandemic. And the group rallied around her. We knew that her husband was, unwell in hospital. Then she needed a mask, a new type of mask, which was not available in a city which is a little far away, because they didn't get hospital in Delhi NCR. So it was a little further away. So everybody was working together, and instead of focusing during those days, we were all focusing on encouraging her and providing support. And then when she finally, the demise happened, all of us rallied around her, and she reports feeling so supported. And she really says she has no words to express her gratitude. And the final theme was a great improvement in quality and range of singing. So all the participants were singers. We could have, of course, my study has lots of limitations. I should have taken more age groups. I should have taken people with instrumental music interest also, but this present study is only on vocal music. So on the whole, the results show that effects of virtual music interaction during the pandemic have been very therapeutic. Therapeutic because nobody was conducting music therapy as such, but the music itself and the bonding, the social collaboration, that helped a lot. I'll just briefly talk about the individual differences, because no two human beings are absolutely alike. There were many similarities. I said all of them reported upliftment in their mood, reduction of anxiety, increase in positivity. They all enjoyed the social interaction, getting support, forming new friendships, and they all reported a great increase in time spent on music, and also improvement in quality of their singing in themselves. There were differences, of course, amongst the 9 participants, because 2 of them suffered COVID themselves. Another one suffered major illness, a non-COVID illness, but a very major illness. But the others stayed safe, fortunately. 2 participants lost an immediate family member during the pandemic, and they were helped in grieving by group support. 4 participants expressed feelings of very high anxiety, stress, and isolation, and depression. And all of them talked about increased housework. But all in all, overall, they were all very grateful for the group interaction. So it's the music activity itself, as well as the group participation, which helped. So the research questions that we had formulated, the first one being, what was the impact of the pandemic and lockdown? That was the first research question I had framed. The findings show that there was anxiety in almost all participants. Everybody felt very anxious and negative. But while some grappled with fear and grief, others who were not directly affected by the disease, they found it a very helpful time to bond with their own family members and focus their time on their hobbies, more reading and cooking. So not everybody was able to. So the pandemic did have impact on each and every one, but the impact differed a little bit. Did the participation in virtual music meetings benefit mental health of the individual? Yes. Across the participants, everybody believed that there was online music participation had a very, very positive effect on mental health and well-being, and reduction in anxiety, fear, negativity happened for all. What was the impact on social relationships? Each of the 9 participants reported very enhanced social relationships, sense of bonding, and new supportive systems and groups. Did it help the person to be more musically active? Yes. All the participants reported increased motivation to listen more, sing more, practice more, and they all felt that there was a decrease in their inhibition towards singing in public. A lot of them had stopped singing. Even they were just bathroom singers, but with the encouragement from the group, they were able to come out of that inhibition. Everybody took out their old music lyrics copies or their classical music notebooks and textbooks, and they were all motivated to do more. There was a marked improvement in their quality of singing. So everybody felt very huge benefits. So in the results can be discussed as that, of course, the conclusion that all participants benefited from virtual music interaction. And more importantly, it has helped on both fronts, intrapersonal and interpersonal. Intrapersonal means it led to self-confidence, positivity, resilience on the intrapersonal within each of them. But and it also motivated them, every individual intrapersonally within yourself, to sing more and increase your quality of singing. In terms of interpersonal relationships, there was a marked enhancement of social bonding and emergence of new friendships. Now, I want to use the ecological systems theory of psychology, according to which each individual lives not only within himself or the microsystem, which is family or health services, your temple, church, your age group, but there is also a mesosystem. Mesosystem means connection between the two. And then the exosystem, friends of family, neighbors, media, social welfare agencies, legal services. Then there is a macro system, which means the country, the world, culture, attitudes, and ideologies of the culture we live in. Why I'm bringing the ecological systems theory is to explain that the individual does not live isolated within his own shell, his own body, his own mind, his or her. But we are living in a microsystem, the family and the neighborhood and everything, and the connections between them. For example, the connection between my family and the neighborhood temple, between my family and the neighbors, that also will influence my mental health, my physical health. Exosystem, extended family. And here I would say in the exosystem, these online music groups became part of the exosystem. They were not our immediate family and friends, but they were beyond, and we connected with them. We were able to connect with them. Of course, the culture of the country, of the group, the place where we belong, all that makes a difference. Now, this, as you can see, there's a line that is a vertical line that shows that just like the solar system and the galaxies keep evolving, this system, the multi-system model, ecological system model, everything keeps changing. So whatever our system was 2 years ago in 2019 was different in 2020, different in 2021. So there is a chronological system also. So the vertical system is the chronological system, because everything is evolving, changing. We are all evolving and changing, so it's important. So why I wanted to use the systems theory is to explain that participation in online music groups helped in improving, enhancing the exosystem, which in turn helped the individual towards positivity, towards mental health, towards coping. Then I'm bringing in here Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow's theory, Abraham Maslow, gave a very interesting theory of our needs of human beings. As you can see, this triangular model, this indicates that the basic physiological needs have to be met first and foremost, like roti, kapda, makan. Uske baad aata hai safety needs. You need safety in terms of a house, some place, shelter. Once these basic biological or physiological needs are met, then we have a need for love and belonging. Once you have that, where you have friends, intimate family relationships, but you also need self-esteem, feelings of accomplishment. Once you have self-esteem, self-respect, you are happy with yourself, then we can move on to self-actualization, which means trying to achieve one's full potential. If I'm born to be a poet, am I really able to write poetry? If I have singing, interest in singing, Am I able to achieve my full potential? And then, of course, beyond comes self-transcendence, where we go beyond ourselves, we go above ourselves. We try to, which can be through spirituality, sense of meaning and purpose in life, and music takes us there. As Dr. Pandav's presentation explained, Om is it goes beyond uh, basic earthly matters, and it's so Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Why I have used this model here is that music is known to help the higher level of needs. Yes, we need physiological needs. For example, during the pandemic, music interaction helped satisfy the higher needs of belongingness, esteem, self-actualization, and transcendence. Okay, most of us were lucky enough to have a roof above our heads, to have basic food, to be safe. Of course, we can never forget migrants and so many others who did not have these basic needs met, and they suffered a lot. But most of us who are here today, gathered here today, we were having these basic needs met. The need for love and belonging partially was fulfilled within the family, but then we were not able to meet friends. So online interaction helped, telephone and online interaction, esteem. Now, taking part in these music groups, if I'm singing all by myself, I may tell myself, oh, you've sung very well. But when others say that, then it makes me feel very satisfied, and I have more motivation to perform more. And then self-actualization. We are able, through music interaction, through music, we are able to move towards achieving one's full potential. I can talk about myself. When I started singing in these online groups, I was not a good singer because I hadn't sung for nearly 20 years because of career commitments, family commitments, and also some physical problem of sleep apnea. So my vocal cords were really not performing very well, and I didn't even have time. But when I started performing in these music groups, I got so much of appreciation and unconditional acceptance that it made me work more. And I said, wow, I can do it. And I got confidence. And today I feel my singing has improved a lot and my vocal cords are behaving better. So I think it has helped us reach higher levels of existence. Now, there is another term called, I only hope I'm not over exceeding my time,
Yeah,
but
you're on the top of the hour. So
okay, sorry. I will just quite quickly finish it. So music helps build psychological resilience. Resilience, as I said, means bouncing back. And as you can see in the diagram, there's it. People who are more positive, who have social support, who are achieving, who are engaging in some productive activity, who are energized, have vitality, meaning in life, and energy. They are, so the last line I'll read out, results of the present study confirm the role of musical interaction in enhancing optimism, hope, resilience. Conclusions of my study: that music is a very powerful coping mechanism in times of crisis, such as the ongoing pandemic. It has helped in maintaining physical and mental health as well as social well-being. All kinds of music participation, whether performing actively or passively, even attending a concert or a webinar, proved beneficial and therapeutic. Qualitative analysis found improvement in self-esteem, positivity, hope, and social bonding. More efforts, therefore, the conclusion and the implications that we must try to have more of these meetings. And I congratulate IMTA, Professor Sairam, and all the organizers for arranging this conference, because this has made us more productive and we are bonding over music. Musical activity and interaction have found to be extremely therapeutic in this study. In my appendix, these were the basic topics that I had, but they were open-ended. Then in Appendix 2, I've given details of all my participants, but since we don't have time, you can just read the perceived benefits at the end. So some of these are all the details. So this gentleman, 85 years, he is retired, living with his wife, and he began singing more. He took out diaries, distraction from his own illness. He developed some very serious illness during this time. And similarly, I don't have time to go over all of them, all the reports of all the participants, but then females also, she found a lot of activity, a lot of benefit. Female too. Her husband had expired 5 years ago. One unmarried daughter lives with her. She was in depression, but then music has helped her, and the music group participation has helped her a lot. Another lady who took up singing as a career when her husband, she has been singing, but her husband expired due to COVID in April 21. This is the case I was talking about earlier. And she says she cannot express her gratitude in words. Another lady, she found a lot of, female 5, yeah. So this lady is a homemaker, but she just as a hobby, she does herbal products. And she found a lot of, her husband is bedridden. So she found a lot of reduction in her stress, caregiver stress. Life was not easy for her, and she's also extremely grateful. So finally, thank you very much. I hope this study will bring a new facet to the world of music therapy, because I believe that it has helped us on an individual level and at a group level. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Kishore. This is extremely meaningful because we've all gone through this. The definition of family has changed because of it. A lot of people we thought we didn't really know are now close to us, and we consider them as family members. Even at IMTA, when we got together to celebrate Holi,
Yes.
and we sang together on Holi, we sang together during the monsoons, we sang together during the Independence Day, patriotic songs from across the country. Not only the concert itself, but the organizers and the singers, when we were planning it, we all got so connected that I can completely understand. IMTA now feels like a second home.
Yes, and very true.
All places where we've been singing on a weekly basis has definitely changed the way we will live going forward, hopefully. So thank you so much for bringing out this very important aspect of life which came up around the pandemic. So thank you so much for highlighting.
Thank you so much.
As we move on, I will now like to call upon Srimati Shobha Srinivasan. She's an ex-computer professional, music teacher, and wellness coach, and she volunteers for the programs like Project Cornerstone and Prajna, and loves to engage with children. She's another certified music therapist, and her main area of work is understanding and dealing with anxiety and depression. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most important tasks which lies ahead of all musicians and music therapists is to grow this field of not just music but therapy. And Srimati Shobha is going to throw light on how do we nurture the musical sense in individuals, which is so important at an early stage, and then of course on an ongoing basis. Without taking much time, I would now request ma'am to please come. She has been a great supporter to IMTA. She has been a personal guide. She guides all of us as well. So please, Shobha ma'am, we're looking forward to hearing from you. Ma'am, you're on mute.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Siddharji, and thank you all the speakers and presenters before me who have given so much insights into everything that, we may feel that we know many things, but when it comes back again to us, it's always a new learning, new experience. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Perfect.
Thank you. So this topic, nurturing the musical sense, tools and techniques, is very, very personal to me. And it is dedicated to all the teachers, vocal teachers especially, because I'm sure many of us would. Now, I want all of us to imagine this scene, okay? A parent comes with his or her child, and the parent is so much in love with music, but they don't have any family background of music, like their parents or their grandparents. Nobody knew about music. They were all bathroom singers, but never knew about music. And the parent is so much interested to know whether my child can sing. And the child comes, and as a teacher, you take a look and ask her some questions, and then you walk her through the saptaswaras to see if the child can place the notes at the proper frequencies. And you feel that no, the child cannot. Now imagine the parent's situation in her mind with so much hope and so much passion towards music. They have come, and the child is also interested. And as a teacher, we are seeing that the child doesn't have the sense of the swara positions. And here is where is the dilemma of the teacher. Now, if the teacher herself or himself is not aware of why certain people cannot have the swarasthanas, the placement of the swaras, if they don't have that understanding, they will tell that music is a gift, and sorry, that your child is not gifted. This used to happen a lot in like when I was a child. And fortunately or unfortunately, people told me that I had gift for music because I could sing and place the swaras at proper places. It came very natural to me. I didn't practice anything. It was just coming. And many of us would also agree and would also have faced the same situations. It just comes. Like Durgeshi yesterday mentioned that he was not formally trained, but he sings so beautifully. So now, as after my computer experience and all that, when I became a full-time music teacher, I started thinking, is it really a gift or can it be nurtured? Now, Renuji talked about this positive psychology, which is full of hope, optimism, resilience, flow, and flourishing. Now, if I cannot give hope to the child, saying that it is a gift and it cannot be nurtured, then is it really true? That's when I started exploring. Is it? And believe me, I did not go through the scientific way at that point in time, because I work with intuition first and then go to see whether my whatever I'm doing matches some scientific study or not. And every time it has matched, every time. So I started experimenting with things, and and I over a period of 15, 16 years, and having worked with more than 200 to 300 students, what I finally felt is that gift becomes gift when the interest transforms to willingness to practice and then to gift. And all this can happen when in every facet, whether it is listening to music or appreciating music or learning music or growing with music. And so, yes, musical sense can be nurtured. And for all the music therapists here, imagine the receptivity of the client. If we were to give the music therapy and if the client is not receptive, what do we do? Right? And that is why it is very, very important to make the client receptive. The musical sense has to be nourished, and it's not a gift, it can be nurtured. So now, musical cognition, like we all know that we have sense organs, and everything comes to us through the sense organs. The information come. And then there is a little bit beyond the sense organs, which is common sense. Now, we have also known that common sense develops. You really cannot teach common sense. It has to develop from the experience, like wisdom. It develops from the experience, the failures, the resilience. And when we have a good common sense, we can interpret the information that is coming through the sense organs and make good decisions. And even if we make bad decisions, we can learn from them and apply them the next time, because it's all a cycle. We are going to go through all this again and again and again. And when it comes to musical sense, especially the vocal music, there are two aspects to it. One is the sound recognition and one is the sound reproduction. So we'll talk about the sound recognition and sound reproduction more in detail in further slides. But just like how we cannot see electricity, but we know that electricity is flowing when we switch it on and the bulb lights. Just like that, we cannot quantify musical sense. But how do we know if I have musical sense? So there are different levels, but some of the things that will tell us that, yes, I have musical senses. I enjoy listening to music. I'm able to know when something goes out of tune. I may keep quiet, but I'm able to know. I'm able to hum a tune along with listening, like, all the Bollywood songs, everybody who would have, listened to radio years ago, we always used to, our morning routines used to be like, putting on the music and then just humming around here and there, doing our work. A little bit more advanced sensibility would be to recognize similar melodies, right? And then I'm able to feel the rhythm as I listen to the music. I feel like dancing to the music. I can feel my emotions change when I listen to music. And I'm able to differentiate between music and noise. And also I'm able to know when something goes out of rhythm. So all these factors and many more can tell us that whether I have musical sense or not. Now, there is always this debate. Yesterday also the panel discussion happened about science and spirituality meeting, and then there was a question whether why should it be this or that? Can it be this and that? My personal approach is that it's probably not just science and spirituality. It is ancient science versus modern science. Both are sciences. And spirituality is something when we apply both of them together in our own self, what emerges out of that, and we will be astonished to see what emerges from within when we are open to applying both. So that is why I always try to go back and see what I'm talking about. Does it have any scientific backing, and what is happening? So this musical sense, also, the brain is the very physical organ in the body. So that's something that we can touch and feel, we in the sense, the doctors. So University of Central Florida professors and couple, neuroscientist Kiminobu Sugaya and world-renowned violinist Ayako Yonetani, they teach music and brain in a renowned university. What they have done is each part of the brain, they are connecting that to how music can help enhance that functionality of that part of the brain. For example, the frontal lobe functions, which are thinking, decision making, and planning. When somebody listens to music or when somebody sings music, it enhances that frontal lobe functions, we all have experienced this, that if we keep something in front of our eyes, and if we daily take a look at that, it always remains in our awareness. And so it is like exercising that seeing daily. Similarly, by listening to music daily, we are exercising that part of the brain. If we it's not just only music. There is a lot of other things which can also exercise that part of brain. But since we are talking about music therapy, I'm coming from that angle. Then it enhances the temporal lobe functions, like perceiving sound, attaching meaning and memory. This perceiving sound is the one that, how that's very important to developing the musical sense, because it's all about whether I can perceive the difference in the pitch, the frequency of the sound, right? And then it also enhances the Broca's area, which aids in speech production and expressing music. I think Rekha ji, who talked about her experience with tumor today, but she is a speech therapist. So that is how that area of the brain gets exercised. And then Wernicke's area, which aids in analysis and enjoying music. This is very interesting that music has so much to offer. It can offer the people who love emotions that area, and also who love technical challenges, analysis. I'll talk about that when we come to tool and techniques. And then occipital lobe, visualizing notes. This is a very, very important tool to enhance the musical sense and get the pitch correctly when we visualize the notes. Cerebellum, movement coordination and memory. I think yesterday Geeta Shri ji talked about this, how movement can enhance one's mood and take them away from being a long time with the screen. Nucleus accumbens is it has been found that music increases dopamine in this area. Amygdala, and music can trigger emotions which are processed here. We all know that. Hippocampus, music can enhance production of neurons aiding in memory. So hypothalamus, music can affect this area, which is connected to endocrine and nervous system and hormone release that regulate thirst, appetite, sleep, mood, metabolism. Corpus callosum, music helps in exercising function. So there is always this left and right of everything. And so, to achieve that balance of left and right is something very beautiful. It can be done in so many ways. And Hirtesh ji explained about Om, Pandav ji also explained about Om. And continuing on that, when we do the Anulom Vilom Pranayam, it's all about balancing the left and the right. And so music can help in that as well. Music increases responses to rhythm, movement, and coordination in this putamen area. So this is about how music is related to brain, which is very, very important, because from a point of view of thinking that music is all about emotion and it doesn't come at the physical level, but when we actually see changes in the physical aspect of the brain because of music, that gives us hope as to how to apply music and develop the music sense. Now, apart from the physical changes that are happening in the brain level, there is, of course, this subtle mind which is sitting there directing everything. And what happens to that subconscious mind? What happens to that mind is that when we develop musical sense, we also develop this sense of alignment. Now, let's just listen to this Shruti. aligning to the Shruti, we need not be performers. Just the fact that something is flowing and I am able to align with that teaches us an immense value in life, that life is flowing and how I can align with life, right? So it can be looked, the subconscious mind takes everything at a very, very deep level. There are a lot of studies about how our handwriting shows what we are. Similarly, how we enjoy music, what is our musical sense, also shows us what we are. And since music has this, both the melody aspect and the rhythm aspect, it also develops this discipline in us that yes, there is music, but then it has to be sung in certain time element to give a certain effect. So that time boundedness comes, and that is discipline. And of course, in the Western music context, harmony and coexistence, where chords, there are many musical notes happening at the same time, and it and it sounds beautiful to just experience that harmony with so many people doing so many things at the same time. And in Indian music context, when we witness this kacheri or the concert, the vocalist, the accompanists who come together and give us a combined experience, also we experience harmony at that point also. So that is why it's so much important to develop the musical sense. Now coming to the science. Now coming back to the first picturization of the student who comes, and you yourselves are not sure, I mean, as teachers, if I was not sure whether this student will be able to sing or not, and that's when the scientific aspect comes and helps us. It's always beautiful to see hope, to get hope from ancient science and from modern science. We don't have to reject one science and say this is hopeless, that is hopeful. Both are hopeful. So this left picture shows our ear and all the organs, all the components there, right? And then there is this coiled thing which is called cochlea, and this is where the frequency of the sound comes and it vibrates, and the difference in vibration is how we perceive what is the frequency of the sound. So if you see the right picture, that this cochlea, which is like a snail, it actually elongates, and then it is kind of, you can see that the frequencies which are listed here, if that portion vibrates, we will analyze it as whatever 400 hertz or 200 hertz. That is how when the teacher says pa, pa, the first thing that the students ear is doing, internal organs is doing, is this, seeing the frequency of the sound and then matching it to that hertz. So this is the perception of the sound. Then we come to the sound production. Okay, I have perceived. Now this perception is in my mind. It cannot be, I cannot express it unless I sing it back, right? So how does the sound gets produced? Of course, it's all related to breathing and abdomen and all that. But what is this instrument, the larynx, which is there in my throat, and how does the sound get produced? And frankly speaking, when I was learning music, I didn't learn about any of this. And it's just during these years where internet has given us so much knowledge from every front. If we are a knowledge seeker, there is no dearth to knowledge. So then it also gives us that hope. Oh, what I thought was a gift is not so much a gift, but it's something that I can practice and I can develop. That's so much hope, isn't it? So the vocal cords, which are there in the larynx, in the right side of this, you can see that when we breathe in, the vocal cords open up. When we have to produce the sound, they close, and the breath goes from the down, and then it slowly opens it up, and then it closes from the down and then the up. You can see it in the figure. So that is how the vocal cords vibrate, resonate, and produce various pitches there, right? So now, what are the common belief systems that make us feel that we cannot sing? Scientifically, because we cannot sing, and somebody told us that no, it's a gift, we feel that we are tone deaf. Tone deaf in the sense we are not able to differentiate between the pitch. So our mechanism, which is that coil, that remember that ear in the ear, cochlea, that is somehow damaged, and so we cannot hear that frequency and interpret that frequency. This is tone deafness. So we believe that. But the studies have shown that people who have believed this, actually 84% are non-tone deaf. They can perceive the pitch. It's very 7% are tone deaf, but the rest are all non-tone deaf, which means they can sing. So even those who are tone deaf, they still can benefit from instrumental music. So this is, if this data is given to somebody, what is that feeling that you get? Oh my goodness, I can sing, for those who really want to sing, right? And so now I'll come to the tools and techniques. The first one is ear training. I always feel that the reason our music, Indian music, there are a lot of things happen in a very non-explicit way. My guru used to say that, listen to music. Probably, if she would have given the scientific reason, it is ear training, all that which we are now able to read and understand, probably it might attract more people to actually listen to the music. But in my experience, when I started working with children who could not sing the swaras at proper places, I told them that you listen to Sarigama Padanisa, just that, Sarigama Padanisa, for 1 month. First, listen to just the Shruti box, Shruti, for 5 minutes, and then the Sarigama Padanisa for like the Alankar for Arohanam for about 2-3 minutes. Daily you must do this. And after that, after 1 month, we'll come back and test the Swarasthanas again. And so it was amazing to see, because I myself was doing this just as an experiment. It was not with a firm belief that something can be changed, because I myself had this belief that music is a gift. Some people probably cannot sing. But what changed my belief system was when my daughters went to school, and I saw, it was like, kindergarten and first grade, second grade. During the school program, this was in US. And so the music teacher would sit with the piano and all the 30 students would sing. And it was amazing for me to see that all the 30 students could sing. So that is when I started to question my belief that if it was a gift, all the 30 students were gifted. So then it was not just for one grade, it was grade after grade after grade after grade. So that is when I started thinking. So it is all ear training, listening, 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 listening. And here is the dilemma. Once we make things explicit, then what happens is that we get attached to the results. Now, if we say that listening will make this happen, then we start to listen with the expectation of that result. And that itself can hamper the ear training. So that is another understanding level that we need, that yes, just listen and enjoy. Do not expect that this is going to change drastically something. It will change, but don't expect that. We were talking about Krishna's teaching from the morning. So this is so much related to that. And then, so ear training, both for pitch and rhythm, vocal exercises. Vocal exercises for young children. If I keep telling them that, you listen to Alankar, they get bored after some time. So I enrolled myself in these vocal exercises, which Western music has in detail. For example, there is an exercise like this is rolling lip rolling, right? This is supposed to give the jaws don't become tightened and they become loose, and it helps in getting the sound out. So this was very fun for children, so I just shared this. So there are a lot of vocal exercises in Western music. Again, in Indian music also there is a lot of vocal exercises, but I think somewhere the fun element also gets added into the Western music, and there's a lot of explicit explaining of why something works. And then there are vowel exercises, for example, like akara, ikara, ukara, mkara. And many times with the vowel exercise, we can also feel the vibrations that happen. If I say ah, where is the vibration felt? If I say where is the vibration felt? And when the children experience these vibrations within themselves, that is when they can understand the operating of the body mechanism, right? So there are vowel exercises. These are all experiential, so they can themselves experience what is happening. Then another technique is that many times what I've noticed is that many children come who have like 4 or 5 swaras. They have the knowledge swarasthanam, but when it comes to the lower swaras, they are not able to reach, even if their actual pitch is higher up, but still they are not able to reach. So then the technique is to always anchor to the note which you are getting, which swarasthana you are getting, and then slightly move one note down or one note up. Just like if we were to walk the stairs, we have to keep one foot at the lower stair and then take the other foot up. So this is a very, very, all this I'm sharing is very, very simple and very, very intuitive, but very effective. It may feel like, oh, this is all, does this really work? But it works. It works completely with over 200 students have tried. So, and then I also ask them to learn an instrument like a keyboard or harmonium or veena, which is fretted, where you don't, like violin is different. But if we are learning keyboard, my eyes will tell me that this is a note that I want to press. My mind will tell my hand to press that note and the sound will happen. right? If the keyboard is tuned properly, I mean, all the keys are working properly, veena is tuned properly, harmonium is tuned properly, then so it is up to the instrument to produce the sound. It's not up to me to produce the sound. So, or to perceive whether it is right or wrong. So, learning an instrument at an early age is essential to developing this musical sense. If we are nurturing it, if we already don't have it, then. And then I also have, experienced this myself, that whenever I want to learn a song, I will play the recording of somebody and then, sing along with the recording. And when I'm singing with them, it all feels wonderful. Oh, wow, I'm able to sing, I'm able to sing. And then when I stop that and when I sing alone is when I feel, okay, I missed this, I missed this. What comes after this? What comes? So when we are in the nurturing stage, if we can sing along with a trained musician's recording, your teacher or your guru or whoever you are learning from, it helps immensely to boost your self-confidence that yes, you can do it. That's very, very important that you can do it. Then I employ something called Swara Sanchara. Like this is, it takes immense amount of patience to know when this knowledge of the swara sthana, the placement of the swara emerges. It has to emerge. It is not that I can give a timeline that you do all this, and at the end of the month, all your 7 swaras will be perfect. No. So it's not like that. It needs to emerge. All that we do is put efforts. Now, while during that effort phase, if our swara sanchara is like, if I keep telling only for example, in Carnatic music, if I have the basic Sarali Varsai, if I keep repeating it and still I don't see any improvement in the Swarasthana, I am as a teacher also is going to get bored, and the student who is learning is also going to get bored because repeating same thing. So what I do is that instead of that, so the Sari Gama Padani Sa Ni Da Pa Ma Ga Re Sa, and then I take short phrases. Gama Pada Pa. I ask them to repeat. Pa Ma Ga. Of course, this ma and all. Pa Ma Ga, like that. Gama Pada Ni Da Pa. Ma pada ma da pa ma ga. What, including the swara sanchara, what happens is that newness comes into that area. If we are used to something and we have gotten bored of it, it's just that we have to mix and match something else to create the newness. So the curiosity kicks in to learn. Every time, every moment, if we are curious, then only learning happens. So the curiosity dies away when things are repetitive and we are not able to see progress. Curiosity dies away. To bring in that curiosity again, we can use this Swara Sanchara. And then also, in this age where it's more about doing and less about being, what can I do? What can I do? This is, all of us get, flowed into this pattern that what can I do, right? So it is very natural to be able to sing something. If after 1 year of doing something and if I'm not able to sing, it is also demotivating. So we can, in Carnatic music, there are songs called notice swaras, which are notes like Western, like a very, very simple thing, like, Shyamale Meenakshi Sundareswara Sakshi Shankari Guru Guha Samudbhave Shiveva. So these are all simple songs where there is not much of voice modulation required. And so it just is the note. And I am blessed to have my daughters who play instruments. So what I do is that I record the instrumental version of these modulated songs, and I mean less modulated songs, and share it with my students and ask them to sing with this instrumental recording, just like how I saw the piano and the chorus singing happening in the school. So I have seen that kids were able to sing full song without any distortion in the swarasthana by using this method. And and I normally tell them that you follow phrases rather than singing alone. For all the trained musicians here, with due respect, if I switch off the shruti and I keep singing, after half an hour, when I come back and switch on the shruti, we can imagine what is going to happen. Our shruti would have either gone up or less. Of course, it depends on how much practice we have and everything, but in general, if the shruti is not constant with us, it will tend to happen. And this is the same thing that happens for a shorter duration for those who don't have the sense of the pitch. So I ask them to not sing alone, but follow phrases. Then to make it interesting, I connect music with different, what is the student interested in? Like one of my students is very much interested in food. So, we talk about food color, food platter, and then I weave in music to say that, for example, let's say that this is, if the student is interested in rhythm, like kita taka, kita taka, kita taka, kita taka, takita, 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 takita. So it's the same time duration, but I have added one more component, one more swara in this to make it 4 and then 3. Time duration is same, but 3 and 4. Similarly, when we actually add more ingredients to the food, something new emerges. So, just to give that curiosity. Once that curiosity comes, then we'll be in a receptive mode, right? Math. The Laya exercises are all about math. So I'll share after I have shared the entire screen. Talked about entire thing. Then I'll share one simple exercise, which is a Laya exercise, which is very fun. And of course, I ask them, how does it make you feel? What is the kind of music that today you would like to learn? And because it's not the same emotion that we will have every day, right? Some days we might be very anxious. Some days we might be very calm. What is the kind of thing that you would like to do today? And based on that, our Indian music is also so flexible that, the same, like yesterday, Chaitra ji talked about how changing a little note can make so much of a difference in the emotion. Similarly, the Arohana, Avrohana in Carnatic music that we start with Maya Malavagaula can be sung in all the ragas. So I ask them to sing in Kalyani, I ask them to sing in Pantuvarali and all those ragas. So it makes, it gives a different emotion to the experience, right? Then swara patterns. I will talk about the swara patterns and Laya exercises because I have to show a paper for that. Then in this pandemic, what I have also observed is, as Renuji mentioned, that a lot of online platforms were there. So when we have the ability right now to sing a part of the song, we are not able to sing the whole song, but we can sing the part of the song. But if I can combine 5-6 students who are singing part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6, and then this becomes the whole song, and when I stitch this together and show it to them, they feel the wholeness in them. They feel that, yes, I am the part, but I have experienced the whole because I've taken a part in the whole, right? This is also related to deep philosophy of spirituality. So this is what I have tried, and children have really felt good about taking part. It can feel to people who are traditionally trained and who it can feel uh, what it's not cheating, but it can feel like a different feeling that, you know, I'm not able to sing the whole, but why I'm showing to the world that, you know, I'm able to sing, because nobody else will know. If somebody sees the video and they have 6 parts and everybody is singing fine, they will assume that all the 6 groups or 6 children are able to sing the whole. This is what the perception will be. But I explain this also to my students that, you know, just because you are part of the whole doesn't mean that you are whole right now. You are part, but you have the ability to become the whole. That is what this exercise should tell you, and not feel that, yes, this is me, but and I can sing this, I can produce this. So it's always about coming back to reality, coming back to authenticity of who we are. And yeah, so this is I have to share 2 more things. I'll stop my presentation here. So I'm really grateful to all those, not only just who are my mentors in all fields, but every person that I meet, every person who has given me something to learn. Really grateful. And now I'll share 2 more techniques that I use. Are you able to see the screen here? Yeah. So now, if that this is called swara pattern, right? So if I were to tell the child that I want you to sing sa re ga ma pa. Okay, this is the first line, first pattern. Sa re ga ma pa. Now I want them to sing the same thing starting with re. What will they do? How will they do? Now, if the initial stages of music sense developing, they will point here. I'll ask them to point here. Re, ga, ma, pa, pa, da. It becomes easy to see how the visualization of the notes can help them, sing, right? And then the interesting thing is, once we reach the upper sa, for example, ga, ma, pa, da, so let's say ma, pa, da, ni, the ni sa. We have reached the sa. Now we have to come back. So we want to do the mirror image of whatever this pattern is. So what we do is we just flip this and go from left to right. Sa ni da pa ma. This is the mirror image of that pattern. Okay. So this is the math involved, and also it kind of gives that brain exercise, makes that brain exercise happen. Children love this exercise, and children they feel a sense of accomplishment. Oh, I can do it. From the time that they came, when they say that no, I cannot do, there are so many facets to music that we can tell the children that if you are aligned to this facet of music, take this. Feel I can do it. That's the main part. It's not that you have to get everything in music. Take that part which aligns to you and make it and feel that I can do it. Okay, so this is the swara pattern exercise. One last exercise that I will tell is the laya exercise. This is a very interesting thing for those who are technically, who want technical challenges. And here is the math involved here. Okay, so there are taka takita, taka taka takita. Okay, the first, I'm going to use two of my hands to do two different things. Okay, so one hand will be putting this rhythm, taka takita, taka taka takita. Okay, that is, so how, what is the total number of swarams? Taka takita 5, taka taka takita 7, so 7 plus 5 12. Now the same 12 can be also visualized as 4 into 3, right? So which is the key, ta is 4, key is 4, ta is 4. So I just want to demonstrate it here. Hopefully you can see my hands. So here, so it is taka takita, taka taka takita, taka takita, taka taka takita. This is one hand. Now I want to start with the other hand doing the 4 into 3. This is 5 plus 7. This is 4 into 3. So taka takita, taka taka takita, taka takita, taka taka takita. So when this is, I'm doing it in slow motion, but you can all see a video of Chandana Bala G. I mean, G is added to her, but Chandana Bala's video, where she has demonstrated this, and many of the people in the group felt it's very, very hard. And when I explained what is the math involved and how it can be done, we don't have to do things in a fast manner. It is about understanding and doing things. So if we understand the technique behind it, we can do it slow. And if we did it even in slow manner, our brain will tell us, oh, you are capable of doing it. And that is how we move on to the next level of making it fast. The first thing is to feel that, yes, I'm capable of doing it, instead of feeling, oh, it is a gift, so I'm not capable. In this lifetime, unless my body changes, I won't be able to develop musical sense. If this was the belief system in somebody, and if we can tell them, no, in this lifetime, you can develop musical sense, how they would feel. With that feeling, I thank everyone here, Siddharthji, Sairamji, and all the esteemed speakers and all the audience here. Thank you so much. And frankly speaking, I'm not a person who goes in to look for scientific thing when I am sure that it works. But
Shobhaji, I think there's a network issue, but thank you so much. And what a beautiful presentation. I'm reminded of in the North Indian Hindustani tradition, when you do talas, different.
yeah,
Shobhaji,
sorry.
I think we lost you for a bit because of the network at the end.
Yeah. So I was just telling that, it is so much important, and this association with NADA, IMTA, and all my other, music therapists like Dr. Meenakshi Garu, Shambhavi. Shambhavi is the one who introduced me to IMTA, and Sairam sir, his books. It's very, very, and all the discussions that happen here, it's important to weave in the science, to show it to the world. Your belief is already strong. There is nothing that's going to change, but it is for the people who are going to come in, we need to show how it works. So that is how so thank you so much, Siddharthji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. A couple of things. The mathematics is an integral part of music, like all other fields. And this reminded me of in the Hindustani classical, when the Gurujis used to teach us the talas, the different tals. You had to do this tali and khali and that combination in knot. And also in Drupad, they do Meru Khand, in which you create these. And it's beautiful to write the notation. The notation itself looks like a triangle and geometric progression and stuff like that. So it's very intriguing. The other thing I wanted to point out was the compassion of the Guru. Shobhaji is taking all this pain to go through YouTube, to find innovative ways, things like that, because she's compassionate towards her students, and she feels that I can do different things in order to make it easier for the student. And I think that's where a good guru comes in, because when the guru finds different solutions to the problem, thank you. So they're privileged and they are very fortunate that they have a guru like you. And the third thing which came to our mind is inspiration can come from anywhere. So sitting in a choir, sitting in an auditorium, listening to a choir, she came up with all these ideas. Thank you so much, ma'am. It is path-breaking work. Some of these things are so simple that we can all utilize them in our own journeys. Thank you so much for sharing all this with us.
Thank you.
Uh, Moving on, this morning is extremely beautiful and informative. And as we progress, I walk to the next speaker, Dr. Sampath Vaneshri, an Ayurvedic physician, a teacher, a performer, a gold medalist. There are a lot of laurels she has accomplished in her life. She is a consultant with the Department of Shalakya Tantra at SAMC Bangalore. She's a gold medalist. She's a singer herself, a great supporter to the IMTA movement. She's here to present an idea of how music therapy and Ayurveda are not two different fields, but they are interlinked, and how they can be, one can be leveraged for another. Without taking much time, I would now request Vanishri ma'am. And before I do that, I also want to remind all the speakers to please go ahead and check the chat box. There are so many comments and applauses and different things people are talking about your presentations. The chat box is full of all commendations and of course appreciation. So please take out time to go through that. And over to you, Vanashri ma'am. We are looking forward to your presentation. Thank you.
Namaste. नमामि धन्वन्तरिम् आदिदेवं सुरासुरैर्वन्दितपादपद्मम् लोके जरारुभयमृत्युनाशम् दातारमीशम् विविधौषधीनाम् Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste everybody. I think, can you see video? Audio is clear?
Yes, ma'am, your voice is clear.
Yes, sir. So I'm very happy and honored to be the part of this esteemed international conference. Today, I have chosen eyes, netram. Always, I have the passion to work on eyes with music. In Ayurveda, we say Sarvendriyanam Nayanam Pradhanam. Eyes are one of the Pancha Gnanendriyas with higher importance. Face is the index of mind, and eyes are windows of the soul. Repeat, face is the index of mind, and eyes are windows of the soul. Music is my life, hence I wanted to connect both for the benefit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is a humble presentation what I could do in this great spirit.
I think there's a network issue. Manishri ma'am, if you can hear me. Don't think she can though. Request everyone to hang in there. I think she's going to log back. As I was saying yesterday, this is one of the advantages of our time. Vanishri ma'am is back. Ma'am, you're on mute. Vanishri ma'am. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I
Actually,
think
sorry. Yeah,
yeah, there was some network issue.
a network issue here. Weather is very bad. Network issue. Yeah, sorry for that.
No problem, ma'am. We are all used to this now in our today's times, the pandemic time. Everybody is
Yes.
used to all this. Please
Yes,
go
yes,
ahead.
yes. Yeah. Can you see the slides, sir?
We can see the slides, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Now I'm going to present the synergistic effect of music therapy and Ayurvedic line of management in Adhimanta. Adhimanta is a disorder of eye which can be correlated to glaucoma. Now we will see what is Adhimanta, what is definition of Adhimanta. उत्पाट्यत इवात्यर्थं नेत्रं निर्मथ्यते तथा शिरसोर्धं च तं विद्यात् अधिमन्तं स्वलक्षणैः. This is taken from Acharya Sushruta Uttaratantra. The feeling of the eye being plucked out and half part of the head being churned are main features of Adhimanta, along with other doshic signs and symptoms of Abhishanda also. When Abhishanda is not treated, that leads to Adhimanta, which is supposed to be correlated to glaucoma, where we are very much familiar with the word glaucoma in this era. We will see what is the etiology for this Adhimanta. The Nidana etiology of Adhimanta, Acharya says it is klesha. What is klesha? Stress, suffering, pain, trouble that vitiates both Shariraja and Manasika doshas, which leads for eye diseases. The probable doshas, Vata, and the disease leads to Vataja Netra Roga. And same way, this Kopa and Shoka, the angry and grief that leads to Manasika doshas, which again enhances Sharirika doshas, and it comes as a disease which manifests in the eyes, that will be Adhimanta. Now we will see the proper lakshanas of Adhimanta, the symptoms. The pain will be there in the eyes and headache will be there. The typical headache where they can make out like someone is scooping out their eyeball like that, they will have pain and headache and raised tension in the eyes. This is the main, we can make out the tension in the eyes will be raised. IOP will be raised. Increased ocular pressure, headache and pain will be the lakshanas of Adhimanta. Now we will see what is the treatment plan for Adhimanta. See now, I have taken one plan of showing this paper. First, I will explain what is Adimanta and what is the general line of treatment, Samanya Chikitsa of Adimanta, and we will see what is glaucoma and what is the treatment of glaucoma, and where we will stand and how I can relate the therapy of Ayurveda with music, and then how I'm taking that presentation. So I would like you to uh, get whatever I am planning, that will go to you. That's what I'm thinking. Now we will see Samanya Chikitsa, general line of treatment. Usually we do Seka, Ashchotana, Akshitarpana, Snehapana or Ghrutapana with Purana Ghritam, that is the medicated ghee, internally and also externally, and Sira Vyadhana in Kapalastasira, that is one treatment we follow, bloodletting treatment, and Sneha Virechana with Tilvaka Ghrita means we give purgatives, and we do Basti Chikitsa, which is said in Shastras, and we do Snahi Kadupampana, that is medicated. Smoking also we do observe as a treatment. These are the general line of treatment what we do in the management of Adimanta. Now we will see the correlation, how it is related. Glaucoma and Adhimanta. This is a closed eye glaucoma, closed angle glaucoma. There will be rapid rise in pressure, headache and eye pain, rapid loss of vision, and may occur more slowly, especially in Asians. So this is a simple anatomy showed here. The predisposing factors of glaucoma, mainly emotional stress, use of mydriatic drugs, stress nowadays due to this pandemic, lot of stress. By listening to news only, they are becoming more stressed, using of the drugs like this. So what happens? The anatomical crowding and age will be a factor. Weather, mood, living habits, uveal expansion, pupillary block, non-pupillary block, and results, glaucoma. The primary angle closure glaucoma, here we have some stages. We'll go through latent glaucoma, intermittent or subacute glaucoma, stage of acute congestive glaucoma, chronic closed angle glaucoma, absolute glaucoma. So the management, pathophysiology and glaucoma existing treatment, the modern science. So these are the preferred treatment for glaucoma, and how we are connecting music and the brain now. I think all the speakers earlier to me have very beautifully explained this. I'll be a very small child to explain. It's a little effort from my side. Music and the brain. Corpus callosum that connects both sides of brain. Motor cortex involved in movement while dancing or playing an instrument. Prefrontal cortex controls behavior, expression, and decision making. Nucleus that involved with emotional reactions to music. And playing and listening to music works several areas of the brain. Sensory cortex controls tactile feedback while playing instruments or dancing. Auditory cortex listens to sounds, perceives and analyzes tones. Hippocampus involved in music memories, experiences and context. Visual cortex involved in reading music or looking at your own dance moves. Cerebellum involved in movement while dancing. involved in movement while dancing or playing an instrument, as well as emotional reactions. Now, how music therapy is incorporated with Ayurvedic therapy. See, this is my experience or my practice. Since many years, I am doing this. Once I completed my post graduation, I started doing, and after that, once I did my Dhanvantari Mantram cassette. After that, I started this practice from past 15 years. I'm doing Akshitarpana for the treatment for many eye diseases, especially in this glaucoma. While doing Akshitarpana, enchanting Dhanvantari Mantram in different ragas has proved to be a very good result oriented treatment. That's how I got interested. And activating the relevant chakras with appropriate ragas. As myself, a Carnatic musical system singer and singer of Sugam Sangeet, light music. So always I had a fascination to connect both this Ayurveda to Sangeeta Chikitsa. So it worked out really well in my line of treatment in my clinic, regular day-to-day practices. It has helped me a great, to the extent this Dhanvantari Mantram in different ragas have helped me in curing many disorders, especially eye diseases. So Akshitarpana, enchanting with Dhanvantari Mantram in different ragas, while activating the relevant chakras with appropriate ragas, and enchanting of Dhanvantari Mantra with Omkara by the patient. So this is more important. Usually what I do when I take a patient for my treatment, I make them to enchant Omkara, and I ask them to do the breathing exercise with pranayama, and I ask them to enchant, repeat Dhanvantari Mantram, and then I will start the treatment by making them to listen mantras. This is the treatment, Akshitarpana, you can see. What ragas I use, usually I incorporate is Hindola Ragam, Volaji Ragam, Malaya Maruta, Malahari, Kannada, and Abhogi Ragam. Where with these ragas, I can connect both Sharirika and Manasika doshas to get rid of this vitiation of both Manasika and Sharirika doshas. Here in Ayurveda, what we say is Agni is very important to control your Sharirika doshas, like to maintain Samadosha, Samagnishya, Samadhatu Malakriyaha. When your body has Samadosha and Samagni, Samadhatu Malakriya, then your body functions will be normal and you are called as Swastha. So, Samadosha, Samagnishcha, Samadhatu Malakriyaha, the next sentence, Prasanna Atma Indriya Manaha, Swastha Abhidiyate. Who is Swastha? Who is a healthy person? Who has the doshas of body are in balance, equilibrium, along with Manasika doshas, where we have Prasanna Atma, Indriya and Manas. When we have the healthy Manas, healthy Atman, and when the Rajo doshas or Manasika doshas are relieved, when that moment is called healthy state of the body. So, Swastha ityabhidiyate. Samadosha, Samagnishcha, Samadhatu Malakriyaha, Prasanna Atma Indriya Manaha, Swastha ityabhidiyate. This is the definition given by our ancient Acharyas 5000 years back. Now WHO has given the same statement. The health is both physical and mental well-being. So, you can appreciate how India is so rich in perceiving health. So once we correct the Agni, we can correct complete doshas. In that way, when we give these ragas, I found that while playing Hindoda raga, we can control both the doshas, which are with liver and also with shiras. So both Yakrit and shiras can be connected with these ragas, especially in Volaji raga. If we take Ga and Ni with Vadi and Samvadi, we can connect both the chakras, where Manipura chakra can be connected with Mana chakram, Manam chakram, and the Sahasrara chakram also. When the bodily doshas and Agni is maintained, when the Samagni is there, the proper functions of the whole body, including Panchagnanendriyas and Manas, can be noticed. In that way, these ragas I found very good at my treatment procedures. So, with this, I'll tell you Sankshepatah Kriya Yoge Nidana Parivarjanam. The very first line of treatment is Nidana Parivarjana. Whatever the causative factor, to release the stress, we need a tool that can be very well music, whether it is Western or Eastern. The music where we can find a very good relief. So, Sankshepatah Kriya Yoge Nidana Parivarjanam, where Ayurveda can help with musical therapy, where I am using Carnatic classical music for the treatment. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you very much. It's actually extremely important, especially for music therapists around the globe, to leverage their traditional understanding in the area. And expert scholars like Vanashri ma'am are actually helping us do that, because we've seen over the course of the morning that how this ancient understanding through scriptures, experiences, and also some of it which is just kind of told to us through a maukhik tradition, which is a verbal tradition, has come down to us. How can we leverage that? Because the challenges in modern day are extremely extensive and extremely difficult to handle. We need all the help we have at hand in order to address them. And these ideas which have been propagated and we've been talked about since morning are going to be an extremely important tool in addressing the challenges of the day. With this, we come towards the end of the first half of today's session. The program going forward is we have a lunch break from 1 to 2, in which, so during these sessions, these business sessions, we are having these academic discussions on different aspects of music therapy, different ideas, innovative techniques which can be used. During that 1 hour, there's going to be a practical implementation, in the sense that singers are going to come talk about different techniques of music therapy, how music is being used, and they want to talk about it and display. And of course, we have a small competition running. But as Shobhaji mentioned yesterday, the competition is only for the judges to see. We are there just to enjoy different techniques. We are going to enjoy those, listen to some nice music, understand what therapists are doing, fellow therapists are doing. So that's something which we have, and from 1 to 2 today. And of course, it will be anchored by Manasaji from Hubli. Post which we have the third business session from 2 p.m. today, anchored by Shobhaji again. And of course, we have an array of accomplished presenters there, and we're going to go through their presentations and enjoy them, and obviously learn from them. I would request everyone to post their questions in the chat box. Please ensure that if you have any questions, any comments, you do document it in the chat box. The conference coordinators and the anchors are all looking at those. So thank you very much. And before I let you go and give you a quick 15-minute break before we start with the music singing competition, I would just like to sing one small two-line prayer of what I believe uh, we should be doing. Basically, I've realized this over the morning today, this beautiful morning we've had, that all we can pray for from God is to take us away from darkness towards light, from ignorance towards knowledge, and from empty walls towards the beautiful Shivlingam. Just two lines. Om. अज्ञान के अंधेरों से हमें ज्ञान के उजालों की ओर ले चलो, असत्य की दीवारों से हमें सत्य के शिवालों की ओर ले चलो, अज्ञान के अंधेरों से. With that prarthana, on behalf of all of us here, we take a break, a good 15-minute break, after which we'll be back at 1 with Manasaji, and we'll enjoy the music today. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your participation. Thank you.
Siddharth ji, recording is still going on.